Hey there, Aurelia here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome and thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have another video tutorial for you and we are going to create this gorgeous tag. So let's go ahead and get started. For today's project we'll be using the Cake Soirée bundle, which includes the Cake Soirée stamp set along with the Sweet Cake framelits dies. We'll also be using a couple of the Sale-A-Bration items. We'll be using the Amazing You stamp set along with the coordinating Celebrate You Thinlits dies. Our ink colors today are Calypso Coral and Early Espresso. We'll also be using our heat tool along with the Versamark ink pad, some white embossing powder, and our embossing buddy. For our paper, I have a piece of the crumb cake that is cut at 5 7/8 by 3 1/4 inches. I have a piece of the Sweet Soirée Specialty Designer Series paper cut at 5 1/8 by 3 inches. I have another layer of my crumb cake that is cut at 5 1/4 by 2 5/8 inches. I have 3 pieces of my Whisper White, each cut at 1 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. I have a piece of the iridescent Glimmer paper that comes from the Myths and Magic Glimmer paper pack. That is also cut at 1 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. And then I have a couple of scrap pieces of Whisper White. Some of the other tools that we'll be using today are our Big Shot. We'll also be using the Big Shot brush along with the paper piercing tool. We will be using the Stampin'. We'll also be using the diamond pattern from the Pattern Party Decorative mask. With that mask, we'll be using the shimmery white embossing powder. We will need a palette knife. And we will also be using my Wink of Stella clear glitter brush. And the last of the supplies that we'll need today are some good old Elmer's glue, our fast fuse, our snail adhesive, some Stampin' Dimensionals glue dots. We'll need our paper snips, bone folder, a sponge dauber, our Stampin' Mist. We'll need our paper distressing tool, a paper doily. I have some of the Calypso Coral 1/4 inch ombre ribbon, about 15 inches. And I have some linen thread here, about 60 inches. And then, because I love this so much, I'm kind of addicted to it right now, we're going to use some drywall tape. Let's go ahead and get our stamping out of the way. I grabbed one of the scrap pieces of my Whisper White, and I am going to stamp the solid tiered cake here, and we're going to stamp that in the Calypso Coral. I'm going to go ahead and grab a scrap piece of paper because I will be stamping off, okay, right there. And then I'm going to grab my Stampin' Mist to mist my stamp. And what else? Oh, and I do have a piece of some textured paper towel. I'm just going to try to create some texture on my stamped image. So here we go. Let's open up the Calypso Coral. Let's go ahead and put that over here since I need it with my left hand. I am inking it up. Make sure I got it completely covered. Okay. And then I am going to stamp off like that. Then what I'm going to do next is from about 12 inches up, I'm just going to spray some of my Stampin' Mist on there and let it do its thing. And then for some final texture, I am going to very, very lightly just rest this on my stamp. Just lightly. Just creating some more texture, because I love me some texture. Okay? So I'm going to grab this now, and I am going to stamp this way. Okay? Just like that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, it is to me. So now our next step is to grab the other cake stamp, the one with more detail and these lovely flowers. And we are going to first, let me set this right here. We are going to first stamp that image in the early espresso. The color that we stamp this, we're going to stamp it onto the Stamp-A-Majig. The color that we choose to stamp this on to our imaging sheet doesn't really matter. The early espresso is for my benefit so that I can see it. So Stamp-A-Majig, for those of you who are not familiar, it comes with an imaging sheet. And then I guess this is actually the Stamp-A-Majig, right? So what you do is you put this down and you move this into your corner right there while holding this steady, okay? Let me go ahead and ink my pad first, or my stamp. Do it this way. Okay, so I have some coverage. Close my ink pad. Alright, so once again, I have my imaging sheet and I am sliding it into my corner right here while holding down my Stamp-A-Majig. What I'm going to do next is take my block and I'm going to set it right, nest it right into that corner and come down onto my imaging sheet. Okay? And then we are going to go and let it go. Ta-da! Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do with this, right? Hold on. I need next my embossing stuff. So I'm going to get my ink ready, my Versamark. I'm going to open up my embossing powder, just getting things ready because I will need them soon. And then I'm going to bring back the cake that we stamped. All right, and this is what we are going to do. Let me go ahead and clean my stamp, the one we just stamped. Grab my Stampin' Mist and clean off my stamp, just using my Stampin' Scrub to make sure that all the early espresso is off of my stamp. Okay, see, nice and clean. Now we are going to cover the stamp with my Versamark. Okay, just like so. Alrighty, I think that's good. Now the next thing that we're going to do is grab our image and my embossing buddy, and I'm just going to apply some of the powder onto my image so that the embossing powder sticks only where I want it. Now here's the fun part. Here's the imaging sheet, okay? So we get to line that up with our cake down below. We are going to, bring that to where our imaging sheet corner where we set it before. So we're going to line that up with the corner here. our imaging sheet is lined up with our stamp imaging, okay? And as long as you are happy with the placement, because that is where your stamped image is going to be, then you carefully hold down the Stamp-A-Majig while removing your imaging sheet and setting it aside. Then we will grab our stamp that is currently stamped with the Versamark, and we're just going to bring that down like so. Okay, we can move that and we can lift that. And now let's see how well we did. Let's bring our embossing powder over here and let's get some of that on here. Okay, alrighty, this should be good. Let's see what we have. And there you go. You see that? Our next step is to put some heat on this cake so that we can melt the embossing powder. All right. Let's go ahead and grab that, turn it on. Okay, and there that is. Our placement was off a skosh, but I'm good with that because I'm on camera and I think I did pretty good considering, right? So we're going with it. Now we are going to let this cool down just a little bit. And we're going to grab our Winkastella and then we are going to color our flowers, okay? The shimmer may be a little bit hard to see on camera. Shimmer always is hard to see on camera, but it's there. We'll let that cool down just a little bit because we are going to next cut that out. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiments while we're waiting. Going to need my Calypso Coral, and then we'll also be using the Amazing You stamp set. We are going to stamp the U and R simply. And let's see if we can get it all onto this one sheet here, because that would be awesome. Alright, so there's my Calypso Coral. We won't be stamping off for our sentiments. Just doing U like that. And we are going to cut these out with our paper snips. So I'm not looking for any type of placement. I'm just getting it on the paper. You are simply just like that. Actually, not just like that. That is not as crisp as I'd like. So I'm going to do over right here. Yep, that one's better. Okay, now we can close this. And let's get our big shot over here. And for our big shot, I'm also going to go ahead and grab these. Remember these? The Whisper Whites and then the Iridescent Glimmer paper that are 1.5 by 3.5, because this is big shot work right here. Okay, so we'll grab these and our big shot, and then we'll be good to go. There is my big shot. My magnetic platform. I'm going to put my cutting plate down. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab my cake and grab my die, which is right here. Okay. And then from the Celebrate You, we are going to grab the Amazing, which is the one right on top. And those are the dies that we need to use today. Looking for my washi tape because I want to make sure to get a good even cut around my my cake. This die leaves a border around your cake, so it's important symmetry is important here. Okay, so I am going to get as good as I can, and I'm going to put some tape down just to make sure that we're good. And then next I'm going to put a sheet of my Whisper White down, and then put my Amazing down. Hopefully that, here is our cake, beautiful cake. We'll put that down, and then here is my first Amazing, and I may need to use my little piercing tool to poke that out of here, release it from the die. There we go. Oopsie. Okay, I will get that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 more of these in the Whisper White, and then I am going to cut one of them in the iridescent glimmer paper. So I will do that off camera, and I will meet you back here when I'm all done, and then I'll show you what the next step is. And there you have it. Those are our pieces cut from the Big Shot. I'm going to go ahead and set my cake aside. I'm bringing back the scrap piece of paper that I used earlier. We're going to glue these on top of one another, with the iridescent being our most top layer. And for that, I just like to use good old Elmer's glue. Okay, I am going to squirt some of my glue out onto my scrap piece of paper, like that. And then, I don't know that I said I was going to be using a paint brush, but I am. So I'm flipping this over so that it is face down, and I am just applying some of the glue. Don't worry if it's a little messy. Elmer's glue is good for gluing papers together and drying clear, which is why I love it. So I am going to grab that piece, and then I'm going to grab another one of my white pieces. Let's see, do this on camera. So I'm just kind of lining it up like that, and then I will pinch together. Okay, and then I will do that with this one here. I'm going to keep going until I end up with the last of the layers sitting there. That's just the iridescent glimmer paper on top of this glorious mound of paper, and I'll be back when that's all done. Okay, so there is the finished product. I'm going to go ahead and set my gluey brush aside so I don't make a mess. I'm going to fold this because I want to give it one good press. Let me turn that over with a block. So there we go. So now that ensures that all of my layers are hugging onto each other real nice and tight, and I'm going to set that aside really quick so it can dry a little bit. Now let's get our yummy paper over here. Paper, 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 yay! And I think I failed to mention that I was going to use a crocodile corner chomper. This one has a photo corner and an angle. We're going to use the angle side, so I'm going to open that up and get the glue off my fingers. And these 3 pieces, I am going to chomp the corners, just 2. So I'm going to slide that in. You can do this with scissors. I just have a lot of stuff in my room, so I might as well use it, right? This one here. So we're just creating the tag shape, right? And then this one here, just decide which way you want your paper to go, and then chomp your corners accordingly. There we go. So now that is all chopped, and that will layer like so. All right. And I did not need this scrap piece of paper after all, because I was very, very good at using the real estate on the other scrap. So we'll save that for another project. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and grab our drywall tape. And the drywall tape, we're going to take the bigger of the crumb cake, and we're just going to layer this on top. Okay? Like so. We'll snip away the stuff that's hanging off on the sides in a second. Okay? Go ahead and make sure it's nice and snug. And then grab your paper snips and trim the excess away from the edges. Alright, so there that is. Now the next step is distress tool. Okay? I'm going to distress the edges of all of these pieces. I'm just going to slide my little distress tool along the edge, just like so. There's that one. I'm going to do that to the other two, and I will be right back. So there are our pieces of paper all nicely distressed. We are going to take the smaller of the crumb cake. I'm going to get my scrap piece of paper. Actually, I may have to grab a bigger scrap piece of paper. There we go. Found another piece of scrap paper. So I am going to take the front of this. I'm going to go ahead and grab my mask, and I'm going to set that down like that. And then I'm going to grab my shimmery white embossing paste. I'm going to open that up and admire all that glimmer goodness that's inside. I'm going to grab my palette knife, scoop some out, and I am not even going in with a plan. I am just applying some of this kind of, I guess I do have a plan. I'm starting at the top and ending up at the bottom, but not really trying to cover it all. If it does cover all, I'm good with that, but really no plan. Just like that, I am going to put that yummy goodness back in there, because there is no wasting shimmery white embossing powder. We do not waste. Close that up nice and tight so it doesn't dry out on you. And then we shall reveal the masterpiece that is underneath here. Voila! Isn't that beautiful? While that is drying, I am going to quickly go and wash this, because once it dries, that's not fun. So while that dries, I will wash and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. This is still a little damp. So in the meantime, we're gonna go grab my favorite color, one of my favorite colors, the early espresso, and we're gonna grab the sponge dauber, and then we're just going to ink around the edges of our paper like that. Okay, I'm going to do that for this piece, that piece once it's dry. And we're also going to, yeah, I know, the cake is so pretty. Why are you doing that early? Well, because I must. I really must. So I am going to do that to all of these pieces, and I will be back. Looks good to me. And then we're also going to bring this back a little bit, because I'm just going to just lightly tap on my doily. There we go. I lost the word, but I found it. I always find the words. Lose them a lot, but always find them. It's when I don't find them that I need to start worrying, right? All right, so there's that. Now I believe that we are ready to assemble. So we're going to first take our bottom layer, and isn't that gorgeous? That's the other side of that lovely paper. You have to hide it. Sorry, but the other side is gorgeous too. I'm going to take my fast fuse and I'm going to apply some around the edges like so, and then one down the middle. And then I'm going to center this onto the top of that layer like that, and turn it over and make sure get some burnishing going on so I can stay put, because we want it to stay put like that. And then of course you remember the little fingernail I thought it clipped my fingernails, but I think that it'll still work. I'm not a long nail kind of person. When you see them long, it's because life has just been super busy and I haven't really had time to clip them down. Long nails tend to get in my way. So I like them short, maybe a little bit longer, but not super long. Anyways, enough about that. The next layer that goes on is this one here, but before we do that, we want to get our doily on there. Oh, isn't that looking beautiful? So what I'm doing is I am centering my top layer where it's going to be, so that I can get a look of where my doily is going to hang off on this side here a little bit. It's going to overflow. And then I'm going to grab that just like that, flip that over, and I'm just going to put a little strip of my fast fuse and then fold that back like that. So then we have that lovely thing that's going to sit on top of that. All right, here we go. Some more of the fast fuse. Be careful with your doily because you will ruin it. So I get enough fast fuse, and that was a messy job of fast fusing, but it's going to work. Getting the job done. Here I'm going to put some snail down. There is some fast fuse underneath, but I want to make sure that I don't ruin my doily, so snail plays better with that, with a doily. So all right, so here we go. Now I'm centering this layer up top like that. Okay, I am going to burnish. There we go. Then my little fingernail trick, just a little bit around my edge. Okay. And I'm going to lift up my doily here, and I am going to, with my snail, bring that down so it stays put. All right, so there is that. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. We're going to put this away because we are done with that. And done with our adhesive. So now what we're going to do, remember this, we are going to get our sentiments prepared. It's really complex stuff right here. We're going to cut it out. So there's our words. We're going to pick these up, and with the ink that's already on our dauber, we're going to edge them. Okay, now we are ready to put this gorgeous tag together. And let's go ahead and start with putting some dimensionals. So let's flip our cake over and let's put that down. I think I used 4 dimensionals, one on each corner, kind of like so. Let's put one in the middle. All right, so now what we're going to do is peel away the backing from the dimensionals. I always have to do that because I forget which one I pulled off, so I have to do this test for stickiness. Okay, so I'm going to set that right there. I'm not pushing down because I want to make sure everything is where I want it to be. Okay, so right about there, that looks good. Now, this amazing, where did my scrap piece go? Because I do need some more glue. I think I said I was finished with the glue, but I'm not, because that's how I adhered my word amazing to the front of my tag, which was with some glue. So we're going to just put some all on the back of the word amazing. And my amazing, I want it to come right about there. Beautiful. All right, so now with our other little teeny tiny words, we want to do glue dots. So I'm finding my beginning here, and I'm just going to put one glue dot onto each of these. So let's get our U. See, we may have to move our cake up a little bit to accommodate our words, which is why you don't commit. You don't commit. It's like a relationship, you know, you get to know each other first, make sure it's a good fit, and then commit, right? Same with scrap. Well, paper crafting, scrapbooking. You know what I mean. Okay, so my doily is a little bit lower on this one here because I'm looking at my prototype. So, you know, we adjust, we make it work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my U out, and I'm gonna start with my Simply, because I want my Simply to end up there and my R to be there, right? A little bit tilted though. I don't like it to be perfect. There we go. And then my U can be right there. All right, so with that placed, then we can go ahead and place our cake. So yeah, our doily was a little bit low, but it's all good. It still works. Now we can press things down, just like so. And for here, I have my 60 inches, right? It's folded at 30 and then folded at 15. And then again, I always waste so much of this stuff because, you know, I need extra in order to make it work. So there's my bow. Lovely. Let's put a glue dot on the back of that bow. And then put that right onto our cake top, like that. All right, let's grab some paper snips here. And we will cut off that much. And then my bone folder, we will use to curl this. I have a drawer full of ribbon, and I promise that I will try to use it in my future projects, but I just love linen thread. I'm in love with it. It looks great with everything. Okay, so there's my curly curls. Okay, you can use a little more curl on this side. Come on, you can do it. Okay, there's that. And then here, there's one more tool that I failed to mention we were going to use. If you have a hole punch, go grab it. I have this behemoth crocodile, and that is what I'm going to use. I am using this side here, which I think it's 8/16 of an inch. And I am going to place, make sure it's the right side, where I want my hole to be. Centering it. Going through all 3 layers. And there goes my hole. We got us a tag. And then with my Calypso Coral Ombre ribbon, which is gorgeous. See, I did use ribbon. I am going to, from the back, I'm going to come in from the back, push that in through my hole. Alright. And then, come on, really? We'll grab those, push them through, and then we'll do this. And then again, of course, I have way too much ribbon. I'm going to cut some of that off. We have it. Super duper easy, super duper quick, and super duper elegant. So make sure that you jot down the supply list down below, then head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and order your supplies today so you can make these tags at home. And don't forget that Sale-A-Bration is in full swing, and with every $50 that you spend in my online store, you have the opportunity to earn free products. Free products like this lovely stamp set and die set that we use today. Yeah, you could earn those for free. Head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and find out how. Okay, one more quick thing before I let you go. Did you know that Sale-A-Bration was the best time to join Stampin' Up? It absolutely is. And if you join my team during Stampin' Up, you get your starter kit, which is $125 worth of amazing Stampin' Up product for $99 plus free shipping. And during Sale-A-Bration, you get to pick 2 additional stamp sets to throw into your kit. No maximum cost. You pick what you want and throw them in there. Just like that. Easy peasy. Go to my website and check out the details and then join. It's that easy. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching my video and for staying till the very end. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, please leave me a comment down below, like my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you so much and have a great day.